What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void Horror Podcast. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of a batshit crazy fucking movie that I just watched called Bullets of Justice. Bullets of Justice is a movie that was written and directed by Valery Milev. I believe I'm saying the name correctly. I could be wrong. He is the director of Re-Kill and the movie Wrong Turn 6, Last Resort. So you can kind of get an idea of what kind of director this is. Plus, the movie was also written by Timur Torres-Bekov, who starred in the movie as the main character. Now, the story of this movie is, during the Third World War, the American government initiates a secret project, codenamed Army Bacon, in order to create a super soldier by inbreeding human beings with pigs. 25 years later, a breed called Muzzles have occupied the top of the food chain, eating and farming humans like animals. Rob Justice is an ex-model / bounty hunter who is basically working for the last line of resistance against the Muzzles. And before these Muzzles got too strong, they tried to kill them off with some sort of spray to make them so that they couldn't procreate, but it didn't work. It just made everybody but them not able to procreate, so humans are fucked. But his mission is to basically just bring down their operation and bring back humanity. There's only one problem. Rob doesn't give a fuck about humanity, nor does he care about incest. No, that's a mouthful to say there. This is one of those kind of pastiche sort of movies that is like throwing everything at you. It has Danny Trejo in it, but he isn't full on, in this movie like Machete or anything. But the movie does, in a lot of ways, remind me of Machete, as well as probably more Manborg, Plaga Mutant Zombie. Basically, the three of those had a baby of some sort and just squirted it out on the world. But it is intentionally over the top, so it's going to have a mixed bag of acting that's intentionally done badly. Does that make sense? There is nudity, incest, pig mutants, gore, over-the-top action, boobs, dicks, pig shit, cheesy-ass dialogue, and, kitchen sink. Originally, this movie was supposed to have full-on porn sex scenes in it, too, but they decided not to. But don't you worry about that. It shows a lot of dick and a lot of everything in there just about. So I'm wondering how this movie is going to be able to be played on certain platforms. But yeah, it's kind of like that deadpan acting style, but, super serious, but also kind of done in a porno quality style storytelling at some moments with certain actors. If you've seen Manborg, then you know. On top of all this amazing, crazy, really creative action and blood and gore and nudity and all this other stuff, it has some of these like really weird scenes where I can't help but think that the director and the people who made this movie are fucking trolling me. Like, seriously, and I'm going to tell you this scene because it doesn't spoil anything. Like, you would think that it was in there because it was an accident, because I'm not sure people will really get the joke, but it made me laugh. These two characters are taking something out of a bag, and it literally takes them 2 minutes each in order to unwrap the bag. Yeah. Almost 100% certain that was kept in there intentionally. Although the movie is only an hour and 20 minutes or so, so maybe they were trying to fill that up there. So maybe I'm wrong, but it seems intentional. Also, this isn't a movie that you're going to want to watch if you're offended by things very easily. In fact, this is made for the types of people who miss those kind of movies where they push the boundaries. Feels like a late 90s, early 2000s kind of movie where they were really kind of pushing the limits there. It's all done in a fun way, so it's not necessarily trying to offend you. It's just doing shit on the screen to see stuff we've never seen before. But that the people who made this movie just cannot be taken seriously. So the action in this movie that I've mentioned before is actually pretty good. There was a lot of attention to detail, and it wasn't just like really shitty fighting, although there was a couple of moments where I had to question what the fuck was going on. Like, what is this scene? This movie is anything but just shoot pig people, Move on. Shoot Pig, it's got angles everywhere, camera work all over the place. They have wire work in this movie, so it's, there was a lot of work done on this movie, guys. A lot of really wacky characters that you will meet along the way that are tucked into this insanely batshit crazy story of these heroes that were not exactly heroes back in the day. There's some pretty interesting sex scenes in this. That turn into fights, which are kind of interesting. But the weird thing is that I don't think this is a movie that is overtly a comedy. It just is because it is so serious and it is so ridiculously absurd. So if you like those kind of movies where you play it straight and it's just hilarious for all the wrong or maybe right reasons in this particular case, it might be for you. Even if you don't like this movie, I still think it's creative as hell. And I don't even know how they managed to make this movie look so big on such a low budget, which is saying something in my opinion. Some of the story, yeah, it leaves a lot of questions, but it's kind of just par for the course of this crazy ride that you're going on. It's a movie about excess. I mean, putting everything in there. I said the kitchen sink for a reason because it's everything in this movie. Did it live up to my expectations? Yes. And I think just so for me. It didn't supersede my expectations, but it was enjoyable. I think there are, many different types of people who will like a film like this. And it does pack a punch. It's not just some stupid movie, but it sort of just met my expectations while I had hoped to see a little more. And what I mean by that is, without spoiling it, of course, is that while I enjoyed the movie, the end kind of left it open to me a little bit in some regards. And it felt like the movie was kind of coming apart towards the end a little bit. I pretty much gathered what happened, but you'll see what I mean if you watch it. Personally, I think we need movies like this anyway because it's just fun. It's not meant to be some sort of award-winning movie in any regard, but if you like gore, if you like excess, just about anything movies that aren't scared to fucking make a movie, this is probably that movie for you. It's not going to be the top tier of all those movies that I've seen, but very reminiscent and obviously a nostalgic look at some of the movies like it. It's kind of a fun ride, and I think you will enjoy that. But if you're not into those kind of things, I would steer clear from it. Sick fucks like me, good night. I'd give this movie a 7.5 out of 10. Could go up to the 8. It's one that is something that you should pick up if you're a cult fan of weird movies that got made and why did they get made, and adding it to your collection if they do release a Blu-ray. But I'd say if you're into this kind of shit, check it out. But that's just my opinion. That's just my thoughts on the movie. I thought it was very creative, and maybe you won't feel that way. I just hope I give you the information to help you make a wise decision for yourself and whether or not you should check it out. That's just me. Thank you so much for coming by, and as always, long live the void.